King of the fourth quarter, Mr. Heart over height. I keep making videos about Isaiah Thomas. I've done it at least twice in the last month or two. Most of those were talking about how this guy, whether he should be an all-star, he should be considered a star. We should never have to hear about the Celtics needing to acquire a superstar because they don't have one, because they do have one. Let's be very, very honest here. There's no one. I mean, if this guy's not a superstar, then we only have 3 or 4 or 5 in the league. And I'm not saying that he's better than, it's kind of hard to make that assessment. But so far this year, there have only been a few players better than him. I'm talking 2 or 3. Honestly, what this guy's done this season is remarkable. Something we've never seen before. Absolutely incredible. Mind-blowing is what I would call it. Now, this video is talking about Isaiah Thomas's chances to win the MVP award this season. And honestly, in any other year, if Isaiah Thomas is putting up 30 points per game, 6 assists, if he's shooting 47% from the field and 39% from 3, and his team's in the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, he's a lock most other years. And, if we're talking about this 14-15 year last year, not last year, 14-15 year where Steph Curry won it and he was averaging 23 and 8 and the Warriors won 67 games, Isaiah Thomas would have won it over him. This Isaiah Thomas would have won it over that Steph Curry. But since we're in a year where we're dealing with the James Hardens, James Harden in the 3 seed in the West, that guy is doing his thing, going insane, 29, 12, and 8 roughly. Westbrook, of course, at 31, 10, and 10. We got guys, Westbrook and Harden, who have been dominating the NBA this season. Even though Westbrook's team, they're falling a little bit. I predict them a 7 seed. I predict them a 7 seed at the end of the season for a pretty long time now, and they're in the 7 seed now. I don't see them leaving that 7 seed. They're not that good. And Westbrook is a great player, but he has his flaws. Every single player has their flaws. But it feels like this season, Isaiah Thomas has been the one guy that his greatness hasn't been do people see what this guy's doing? The clutch game, the fourth quarter game, this guy's had, how many? 15 point fourth quarter games. He's had 10 of them. That's more than almost the entire league combined. Honestly, the guy is going absolutely nuts. He's averaging the most fourth quarter points since the 90s, since 20 years. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm going to say that Isaiah Thomas is absolutely in the MVP conversation now. Is he my MVP? No. Isaiah Thomas is not my MVP. However, the things he is doing this season are absolutely remarkable. 47% from the field. He's only playing 34 minutes a game. 30 points per game in 34 minutes for a 5'9" guy on 47% from the field, 39% from 3, 92% from the line is mind-blowing. Absolutely. Allen Iverson never had efficiency like this. And this isn't taking shots at Allen Iverson, who's an all-time great. And we know this guy as an incredible small player, that was putting up crazy numbers. But it's not like Allen Iverson was shooting 47% from the field and 39% from 3. He wasn't getting buckets like Isaiah Thomas. He was taking a ton of shots. He was doing it kind of more like Westbrook is. But the difference between Isaiah Thomas and Westbrook is that Isaiah Thomas, he's getting buckets from 3-point range. He's getting more buckets. He's making more of the shots that he's taking than Russell Westbrook from 3s and from 2s. He doesn't have the rebounds. When you're 5'9", you're not going to get a lot of rebounds. He averages 3 rebounds a game, okay? You can't really compare. That's like saying, oh, Westbrook's better because he's taller. We obviously know that Westbrook's 6-7 inches taller than Isaiah Thomas, at least. So he's obviously going to get way more rebounds than him. And James Harden, he's getting 6 more rebounds than Isaiah Thomas, or roughly 5.5 more rebounds than Isaiah Thomas. Well, he's 6'5", and Isaiah Thomas is 5'9". That's going to happen. Now, the only place that you can really make a legitimate argument against Isaiah Thomas is his defense. Offensively, he's been a top 3 player this season, I would say. Defensively, nowhere near that, okay? This guy's not very good on defense at all. And a lot of it is because of his height, but just because he's too small. Yeah, like I'm saying, he's a guy that's really talented, but his defensive rating hasn't been very good. But when you can hide a guy on defense, and I used to talk about how offense was defense and offense were the same. Defense and offense are equals in my mind in terms of how much you value them, but individually, defense isn't as important as offense. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna update my thinking, because when I was talking about that, I kind of meant more in the team concept. If you're so bad on defense that you force your team to play 4-on-5 basketball, that's a problem. Isaiah Thomas, they're able to hide him, and if you do that, your weaknesses aren't going to be shown as much. And the Boston Celtics at 31-18, they're a second seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 2.5 games behind the Cavs. If the Celtics get that first seed by the end of the season, Isaiah Thomas should be top 2 in MVP voting. He should pass Russell Westbrook, because MVP voting is a lot about team success. And, we really had Steph Curry win the MVP in that 2014-15 season over James Harden, just because his team was better. And it's not like Curry was doing anything better than Harden in terms of scoring the basketball, making plays for people. He was just the leader, the best player on the best team, basically. And Isaiah Thomas, if he's the number 1 seed, if the Celtics are in the number 1 seed, he should definitely get huge consideration, and he should be top 2 for this award. And it's crazy because I never thought that I would be saying this. Isaiah Thomas, all the odds are against this guy. I don't know if you guys understand, because he makes it look so easy. And we're seeing, last night, what did he do? 44 points. He had 19 in the fourth quarter. Then the game before that, he had 41, 24 in the fourth quarter. We're getting used to Isaiah Thomas scoring 30 points. If Isaiah Thomas drops 30 points, that's no big deal because he averages 30 points. But you guys, we're not really realizing how crazy that is. A 5'9" guy in the NBA dropping 30 points at night? Are you out of your mind? Isaiah Thomas put up 22 points per game last year, and that was considered amazing. 22, he stepped it up. And not only has he stepped it up in terms of his production, he's averaging 8 more points. He can also win the most improved player because he's shooting 4% better from the field, 3% better from the 3-point line, 4% better from the free throw line, and his team is much better, and a lot of it is because of him, okay? He's improved in basically every area. He's scoring with ease. His fourth quarter scoring is historic. He's one of the most clutch players, not only this season, not only in the league, but, the performances. This is like one of the most clutch seasons in NBA history. One of the most clutch players in the season ever. Crazy stuff, historical stuff happening right in front of our eyes. Now, as I said before, Isaiah Thomas is an amazing player, and so far he's been a top 10 player this season, or he's a top 10 player in the NBA, I would probably say, and I'd likely say that he's a top 5 player this year, maybe top 3. Is he the 3rd best player this season? I think it's definitely something to consider. The 3rd best player this season, maybe even the 2nd best. He has been that good, and it's so hard because there's so many great players in the NBA, but when you're doing what this guy's doing, how can you take credit away from a guy? You look at his last 5 games, 38 against the Rockets, 9 assists on 15 of 27 in a W. Then he had 21 points, 8 assists on 9 of 15 in 25 minutes. That was a blowout W. He only played 25 minutes, he only had 21 points. You'll look at that, you'll see he only had 21 points. Well, it was because he didn't need to play the fourth quarter. He had 21 points in 3 quarters and 25 minutes of play. That's ridiculous. Then the next night against Milwaukee, 37 points and 8 assists on 11 of 21 from the field. Just a normal game for IT. Then after that, 41 and 8 against the Detroit Pistons on 48% shooting. And then last night was the best one because they were losing all game. Toronto came to play. Toronto's been losing lately. They were fed up. Toronto was playing a hell of a game in this one. But they were up basically the whole game until Isaiah Thomas turned it on in the fourth, went for a 44.7 assists on 12 of 22. When you look at those games, and the month of January he averaged 33.7 assists on 50% from the field and 43% from the 3-point line in January. I'm going to repeat that. And 94% from the free throw line. Let me just repeat that for you guys. He averaged 33 points, 50% from the field, 43% from 3. This guy's unbelievable. They only lost 4 games in that month, and they won. What did they win? They won, I believe, 10. They went 10-4 in the month of January, and he averaged 33.7. He's a top 3 player. He's been a top 3 player this year. There's no doubt about it. This guy needs to be in the MVP combo immediately. He's there with Westbrook and Harden, if you ask me. in terms of what he's been doing lately, he's been the best player in the league. He was the best player in the league last month. I'll just say it. I'll just come out and say it like that. There was nobody in the league better than Isaiah Thomas in January. All right, that's going to do it for this video. This guy is absolutely incredible. One of my, I'm not going to say favorite players because you guys are probably going to think I'm a bandwagon, but I've always liked Isaiah Thomas. It's just crazy that he's doing so well. No, I'm not going to say he's one of my favorite players. I'm going to say I like him. He's a player that I like. I've liked for a while just because of, you know, the odds against him, but it's ridiculous. This guy's unbelievable. All right, I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.